The map continues to change rapidly in the war between Russia and Ukraine. We continue to investigate and report all developments in the war zone for you. The Ukrainian army has gained a very serious superiority on the front in the last 48 hours. The Ukrainian army manages to break through the Russian trenches. The Russian army is forced to retreat on many fronts. Russian soldiers are leaving their positions. In recent days, the Ukrainian army has redirected its operations on the southern front. The Ukrainian army is advancing towards Crimea. Operations are increasing, especially around the Dnipro river. The Ukrainian army is advancing rapidly on the southern front. The Russian army is taking interesting defense measures around the Dnipro river. It has placed mines in many places along the riverbank. These mines are not enough to stop the Ukrainian army's advance. Moreover, this plan has led to casualties among Russian soldiers. The Ukrainian army is conducting sudden operations on these fronts. Russian soldiers move erratically to evade these operations. As a result, some of Russian soldiers had to go on mined areas. Russian soldiers step on mines and explosions occur one after the other on the front. The Ukrainian army's operations on the southern front are very active. Russia has detonated a dam to stop these operations, but even this could not stop the Ukrainian army's advance. The Ukrainian army manages to cross the west bank of Dnipro River on the southern front. The Ukrainian army is also pursuing a special battle strategy around Kherson. For this, the Ukrainian army breaks through the trenches from a single point. After breaking through the Russian trenches, Ukrainian troops launch operation in two different directions. The Russian army cannot find a solution to this plan of attack. Russian troops are helpless in this phase of Ukrainian raids. On the other hand, the Ukrainian government is doing its best to ensure the successful conclusion of the offensive. One of the efforts in this regard is lowering of the dam water level. The Ukrainian government is making great efforts to solve this problem and save civilians. According to the latest statements, flood waters have dropped on many fronts. Ukrainian officials said in a statement, "The water level has dropped more than a meter in one day and more than 7 meters since the explosions." After the rapid raise of the dam waters, the Russian army thought it would have a success in this operation. However, the Ukrainian army soon made significant achievements in this war zone. Comprehensive measures were taken against the dam waters and Russia's plan was thwarted. The Russian army failed to buy time. The most important achievement of Ukrainian army was the use of Leopard 2 tanks in recent battles. The Ukrainian army started using these tanks around Kherson. The cannons of the Leopard 2 tanks are destroying the Russian trenches one by one. One of the fronts where the Ukrainian army is conducting operation is around the city of Vuhledar. The Russian army is being pushed back during operations on this front in the south of Donetsk region. Russian troops are withdrawing their troops from the town of Myklysky towards this town. The number of the trenches in the countryside between Vuhledar and Myklysky has started to increase. The two armies will face each other on the front. The fighting in this area will change the maps. After this front, the Ukrainian army plans to capture the town of Pavlivka. The town of Pechistivka, located west of Pavlivka, is under the control of the Ukrainian army. The Ukrainian army is establishing superiority in different regions by penetrating the Russian trenches. Then these fronts are combined. The Ukrainian army is following the same plan on this front. Troops from the town of Pechistivka are now moving towards Pavlivka. The Ukrainian army can gain a strong position in this area. Fighting in the Marinka direction has also intensified. The Russian army tried to launch an offensive on this front, but the Ukrainian army successfully defended. The Ukrainian army repelled 14 Russian attacks in the area of the city of Marinka. The Russian army lost a lot of ammunition on this front. The Ukrainian army is putting up a very successful defense, but the Russian army is extremely unsuccessful in this regard. In the last operation organized by the Ukrainian army, the Russian army could not defend. The Ukrainian army organized air strike in the Orykhov region. Artillery strikes were also used effectively in these operations. Russian troops could not do nothing against the Ukrainian army's artillery systems. The Russian army suffered a lot of losses in this front. On the other hand, Kharkiv Oblast is one of the regions where the operations are conducting fearlessly. In this region, which is the northernmost front of the war, the Ukrainian army has made very strong progress. The fighting around Kupiansk is especially fierce. Maps are constantly being updated in this region. Therefore, military deliveries in this region are very difficult. Clashes are also ongoing on the P07 highway, which passes through the center of Kharkiv, and it is the most active highway in Kupiansk. The Russian army is trying to use this highway. However, the Ukrainian army maintains its dominance on this highway from the town of Novozilivki. This is disturbing the delivery of ammunition to the Russian army. The Ukrainian army also managed to destroy a Russian Ka-52 helicopter on this front. The Orlan 10 operational tactical UAV was also destroyed. Over the past day, missile forces and artillery units have hit 3 checkpoints, 2 anti-aircraft missile systems, a concentration of Russian troops, and 3 artillery units in firing positions. Ukrainian Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar also shared data on the Ukrainian army's advance. According to the data shared by Hanna Maliar, the Ukrainian army advanced another 6.5 kilometers as a result of the latest operations. The names of the 7 liberated settlements are as follows: Lubkovy, Levatny, Novodarivka, Neskuchny, Strozhevi, Makarivka, Belagodatne. In Bakhmut, the Ukrainian army continues its advance. Today, it is known that the Ukrainian army advanced about 700 meters further. It is very difficult to advance on this front, where the trenches are very close to each other. However, despite this, the Ukrainian army continues to advance every day. Experts following the war zone say that the Ukrainian army's advance is extraordinary. In recent days, the Ukrainian army has been establishing a great superiority in the operations. The Russian army is expected to retreat on many fronts in a short time. It is reported that the number of Russian soldiers, especially in and around Haryankivka, is rapidly decreasing. Russian soldiers are experiencing a great loss of power in this region. Flash developments are happening every day in war zone. Everyone knows that the Russian army is in a very difficult situation. We continue to report the latest developments and map updates in the war zone for you. Stay tuned for the latest developments in the war zone. Follow us for more updates.